yo. Whoa, that was abrupt for me. I should have weeded that out a little better, wound it down, faded it out. However, we live.
However,
Yeah.
welcome.
So welcome in, y'all. This is going to be our end of the year blast. We'll be back in January, but for the holidays and stuff, this is it. We're gonna wish everybody up front good luck on your playoffs. Even though I know some of us have already started, and some of us have already lost. So we made it in and didn't do that. But I'll ask first. How was your week?
Fantasy. So all three of them are going to the playoffs this week. All three of the leagues are going to the playoffs this week.
Right.
I did not make it in all three. The family league that I'm in, I did not make it. I am.
Oh, wow.
I happen to look at it. It's family and friends. It's like me, my wife, my brother-in-law, his wife, their son, and then my wife's sister and her husband and their three sons.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So only 4 teams get to go to the playoffs in this league, and
Oh, wow.
I'm in the consolation bracket with all the women. So there's two others that did not make it at all. So I think there's 10 of us. I mentioned 10 people, right? Yeah.
I think so. It's about to.
So yeah, my brother-in-law and my sister's brother, or my wife's brother-in-law, excuse me, they both made it, and then my wife's brother-in-law's sons, 2 of his sons, they are in it. And then the other one you know about because I'm playing you in the playoffs.
Yes, I do know that. Round 1, you and me.
Right. Yes. And then the other one, I'm in the playoffs as well. So 2 out of 3, it's not bad.
So here's a deal that happened with me with mine. I made the playoffs in every league. I actually did make the playoffs every league. However,
Good start.
However, our league started. I want to say it started last week in my family.
Okay.
So I was unaware. I honestly was just unaware. I didn't realize that the playoffs had started or anything. Now it doesn't mean that I didn't set my lineup. I set it, and but I thought I had another week. I felt like this.
Didn't realize the stakes.
Right. If you want to try a couple things here and there, you could, or whatever. And I don't think I tried anything crazy. But long story short, it came down to A.J. Brown, who I have, versus D.K. Metcalf, which the other guy.
Oh.
And we were literally like a point or so away. I think I had him by 2 points Monday night. And then the game happened. And the first half happened where DK got 1 catch for 14 yards. Mm-hmm. All right, fine. And they were throwing AJ. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Well, so I had a nice lead going into the fourth quarter. And or the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left in the game.
And then DK happened.
Yes. And DK. It was the craziest thing. I'm sitting here watching this game, and I'm like, man, I was like, okay, this is gonna be all right. And then it was like the Eagles, they weren't like running the clock. It was just sort of like they were still playing football. It was like, wait a minute. Then it was like, okay, well, DK hadn't done anything all night. I mean, he's not going to do anything now. And, of course, he didn't need to do much of anything. We had a full-point PPR in this league. So all he needed to do was catch the ball.
Catch the ball, yeah.
And basically that's all he did. Because I was like, I really wasn't worried about him scoring. but it was just a couple of catches. And of course, he had a couple of catches, it was like, okay, they need to go ahead and score. I was like, okay, just score. Because then they're definitely going to be throwing to A.J. Brown. And so
Right.
by the time Philly got the ball back, all I needed was one catch for 10 yards. That was all I needed. And the first play, once they got the ball back, was a 12-yard out to A.J. Brown. It's like, yeah, he was out of bounds. It's like, oh, come on. You gotta be kidding me. It's like, dude, you couldn't get it in. And then I think they ran the ball the second down, but then third down, they went all the way down the field to A.J. Brown. Game winner for me, had it not been intercepted. Man, it's like I could not believe it. It was just like, yeah. So I ended up losing by less than a point, like literally.
Wow.
A point. And but my brother-in-law, who had the bye, said he was watching the game. He's like, dude, this was the best fantasy game ever. Like, because it literally did. It just came down to it. And the guy I was playing said he didn't even look at the score until like the next day, because he was afraid that the how they do the adjustments the next day, and
that's why I never look.
He's like, I'm not looking because they're gonna do one of these adjustments, and like I said, it was less than a point, and I mean, I was watching the whole time, so I'm like, okay, and when DK hadn't really done anything, I'm like, all right, this is, I knew it was still close, but I'm like, yeah, okay, it'll be all right. Could not believe how that went down, though. But yeah, so I'm out of that one. And then like I said, I looked at your league, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, I said, I guess I'm going to fall, because I was behind Menace. So, I was ahead of Menace, but I was looking at his score, and I was like, okay, he's outscoring me, and we have the same record, so I'm gonna fall down one spot. And then I looked. I guess it was this morning or yesterday morning or whatever, and I was like, it's like I played dreadful the first round. It's like for a while, it felt like you and I were always playing each other the first game of the season for a little while, and then I was like, now. I was like, and then of course I did look at, what we were scheduled to get, and I'm like, dude, this is going to be bad for me. It's going to be bad because don't get me wrong, I've been squeaking by, right? I mean, it's been Lamar Jackson and Christian McCaffrey getting me through everything, each and every week. I mean, the rest of my guys are like, I mean, Likely is okay because he's taking Andrew's place, so he's all right.
Right.
But I'm sitting there thinking, dude, I think it may come to get me this week. I was like, it just may come to get me this week. So we'll see. I hadn't looked at my lineup that much. I know I got to do something tonight because games start tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And I didn't realize this. It was like games are Thursday, Saturday, and then they're like Sunday. And then there are like 3 games on Monday.
Yeah, Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a long one. It's going to be all weekend dealing with fantasy here. So it's going to be something else. And in my other league, I haven't really looked at. I know I won, but I hadn't looked at anything about this week. I think the only thing I've changed so far in that league, and I did it like right when we were getting on the air, was I moved Lamar Jackson back into my starting lineup and set Brock Purdy. Now, the crazy thing about that is that San Francisco plays Baltimore. So it's like I'm still sort of like, which way do I go with this one? And I think that the upside to me is Lamar running. Is the upside of it. And so, especially since, but that I guess their rookie Mitchell is hurt now. So,
right. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think he's done for the
well,
rest of the season.
yeah, he's done. And so he may it may be a little bit more now.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting. But yep. That's the only thing that I've done. I think is looked at. Jeez, it's kind of crazy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take out Mr. O here. But yeah. So yeah, I just it's kind of crazy. So I was listening to the show this morning. And they were talking about some of these guys, these quarterbacks that that have what do you call it earned a starting a starting spot now.
Yeah, it's a year to backups.
Yeah. So it got me to thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute, how many teams in the league right now are actually set at quarterback right now? And I'm gonna pull up my list here of teams. So I'm just pulling up the schedule for this week. But I think if we could, let's just get into it a little bit because.
What do you mean that set, like that don't have injuries, or there's just like they really have their quarterback, but he's injured right now?
Even if he's injured, like you guys are set, like the Colts are set. They're going to start.
Yeah, they're not going out for Richardson.
They're not going to get anybody else. We know who this next season, not this season, of course.
Right.
But next season. I mean, we know who the quarterback is going to be for
right. So like Cincy, same thing.
Yeah, Cincy, same thing. I think Tennessee, because Will Levis is going to be the starter next year. I mean, he's hurt now, whatever, but he's going to be the starter next year. So they're set.
Should be, yeah.
And the thing is that the reason I think about it, the reason I was thinking about it was they were going down the list, and I can't think who are some of the backups this season. I hate that I'm thinking about it this way. But okay, hold on.
Some of the backups that are doing well, or
yeah, that are doing well this year.
You got let's see, Flacco has done pretty well for the last 2-3 games,
right?
And he's like their third quarterback, third or fourth actually.
And that was one of the names they brought up. So Flacco, if you think Flacco, it says Flacco earned a starting position in the NFL. But the thing is, I sort of feel like that too. It's like, no, I don't think so. But see, here's the other part of it. Like if we go down the list, like even Carolina, I think is set at quarterback. Now, is it going to be good? Yeah, maybe not. But they're set. I don't think they're going to
set for now.
You think they'll bring somebody else in?
I think they'll bring a veteran in, like to back him up. But yeah, I won't say they're set, but they're not sold. I'll put it that way.
Okay, that's a good one. I like that. But the thing was that they were saying that like these guys, and I wish I could think. Oh, like the guy out in Vegas, right? O'Connell, right?
O'Connell. Mm-hmm.
And they were saying that he deserves a starting job in the NFL. But I'm like, if you say that, where are you gonna put him? And that's why I thought about it this way.
He's gonna stay where he's at.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that these guys, because they have Garoppolo still, right?
Right. That's what I say. He's going to stay where he's at. If he's going to earn a starting spot, he's going to be in Vegas.
Be there. Because like, I think Chicago is going to take a quarterback, right? So they're not a spot that a guy who's playing right now can have, because Chicago is going to be set.
So he'll be somebody's backup, or somebody will be their backup.
Right. Because I mean, so I'm starting to top the list here. So like New Orleans right now, Carr is the starter in New Orleans. You think
Right.
they're set with Carr? I think they're set with Carr.
They're pretty set. I mean, like he didn't sign a 1 year deal, did he?
I don't think
I,
so.
I'm,
I
yeah, I
thought
don't think so.
I think it's multi-year
I
deal.
think they're set.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think that's.
they're set.
And then what about Stafford in LA? What do you think about
Depending on what he wants to do, but other
that?
than
Right.
that, I think they're set as well.
If he wants to
Like
stay, he's good.
yeah, right.
But
Yeah, I think they're
he
set as
could
well.
could he retire? Would he retire? You think he would retire?
And he's already won a Super Bowl. He
Yeah, he's
won the
already
Super Bowl,
retired.
so
The team is not
so
great.
no,
You
but
know,
they're not terrible either. They
not
actually,
terrible.
they're kind of like surging right now, so they're doing better than they started out.
That's an interesting spot,
But
LA.
yeah, they're. I mean, as long as he
But
wants to stay, they're
if he
set.
wants to stay, they're set. They are set. We talked about Cincinnati already. Pittsburgh.
They
Pittsburgh.
are in flux. I mean,
Right.
everywhere. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's. Well, so how long has Pickett been hurt?
Um,
Pickett. Like, do you think he's the answer, or did he get hurt too quick for them to find out?
I think
Because he wasn't
maybe
playing great, but he's actually playing just as good, if not better, than what they're getting now
what they're
from
getting.
Trubisky and whatever his name is,
Rudolph, Mason Rudolph.
Rudolph. Yeah,
Um, I don't know. I'm thinking if they had an opportunity to get maybe sort of like what you were saying, a vet or something like that, then I think they might go for it. I think
who they should go after is Browning
from Cincinnati,
from Cincy. Yeah,
that would be interesting. But yeah,
they
that would be
should go
good.
after Browning.
But the problem with that is, I don't think Cincinnati's going to let him go.
They shouldn't, because he's a solid backup.
Exactly right. That's exactly what I'm thinking, because it's like you can't you can't let a guy that is that good as your backup get away from you. But they did. We talked about that was one of the two things I talked about though with Cincy, because that guy is going to be. I mean, what is this? The quarterback for Cincinnati, Burrow. I mean, he seems to get hurt once a season. So you're gonna need, if you got a solid backup like him, you can't let that go.
No,
so
not at all.
They'd rather it. That seems like more of a they're gonna pay him and move on if he wants to stay. He wants to stay. I'm sure he does.
I'm sure he does. But Pittsburgh needs to be looking for somebody.
Yeah, Pittsburgh is a spot. So that's the first spot so far on the list, I believe. Pittsburgh, Buffalo. I think they're set.
They're set. They're set.
That's all the talk about Josh Allen or whatever. Josh Allen's good.
He's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Los Angeles Chargers, they're set. Justin Herbert.
They're set. Herbert's not going anywhere. They'll get rid of everybody else before they get rid of Herbert.
Before they get rid of Herbert, you're right. We talked about Indy. They're good. Atlanta.
They are not set. They will be getting somebody. I'm predicting they will get Justin Fields, but
get Justin Fields.
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
Chicago is going to draft a QB, and somebody's going to be in the market to trade for Justin, and I think Atlanta will make that jump.
What would they give up for him?
They had him in the draft. It shouldn't much, because everybody knows that Chicago is trying to get rid of him, so it's not like he can ask for a bunch. But I would say at the very most a second. And that's at the most.
Yeah. Honestly, it's bad. I was thinking about like a fifth, but
I mean, I would actually think like third or fourth is actually reasonable, but at the very most they're going to get is a second.
Yeah. Atlanta is going to be, are they going to be drafted early this year?
They should be. They should be in the top 10. Even them almost winning the terrible division,
Oh yeah.
They like it was bad until Tampa Bay started winning because like I don't think any team in that division at one point had a winning record. I think there were like three of them tied for first at like 5-6 or something crazy like that. And it's just recently that Tampa Bay started winning. I think they're the
Right.
only ones over 500.
Are they actually over 500?
I think maybe by one game. Let me check.
No, they're 500.
They're at 500. Okay, so everybody else is below 500. So yeah, that was like a terrible division.
Oh man. So we'll skip down to Tampa Bay though. What do you think about Tampa Bay at quarterback?
I think they're set. I think they stick with Baker.
I think so too. I think Baker's been good for Tampa. I mean, you know what I mean? He's been good for Tampa.
Now that is barring that they find a way to keep Evans and they keep what's his name, Godwin.
Yeah. You think they're going to be able to keep them both?
They should. And they better. Otherwise, if not, then Baker is not the answer. I mean, it makes everything a lot easier when you have two superstar wide receivers. That's how Brady won the championship. He went down there to his team that was already set.
That's true. That is absolutely true. But no, I do. I think Baker Mayfield is set at Tampa. I don't think that they're going to be hunting around looking for any controversy down in Tampa. A solid little team there. Jacksonville is also set.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland has to be set. They set themselves. So
they set themselves, yeah.
They set themselves, so they are set.
Contract wise,
yeah, they can't afford to have too much of a thing going on. You can't sit a guy you're paying $235 million guaranteed.
Well, you can sit him, but you definitely can't let him go.
That's true. That's true too. What about Seattle? Now,
Seattle, I would say they're set.
Set with Geno.
Set with Geno, and they got a decent backup. At least he was good last night.
He was good last night. That's right. Yeah, he was in lock, and that's one of the things. That was the reason I think part of the conversation started with this quarterback thing was what he said. How how emotional he was at the end of the game, and all of that stuff. But yeah, I think, and same thing with him. I think Geno's good, and with Locke, you have a locked in backup there, basically.
Right. And they're in the pretty much same situation as Tampa. I mean, you got DK Metcalf, you got Lockett, and now you got Smith and Jigba. I mean, you have weapons. So all you need is a halfway decent quarterback to feed him the ball.
That's true.
He needs a quote unquote game manager, really.
Yeah. So Seattle was good. So okay, so then Minnesota.
Yeah, well,
so
I think depends on how you look at it.
Okay.
Kirk is good enough to win games.
Right.
I don't know if he's good enough to take you to the promised land.
Okay.
Dobbs is good enough to win games. Don't know if he's good enough to take you to the promised land. So it depends on what they're looking for. If they're looking to just possibly get lucky enough that they happen to win the games that takes them to the promised land, then I think they're set. They're set.
You know what's more interesting about that? And because I was thinking that Kirk Cousins would probably want to move on. Like I forget his contract situation, but I'm thinking maybe he wants to move on. But just given the conversation that we're having now, where would he go? Like, I mean, he wants to win too, right? I mean, so you got to find a team.
He would go to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Ooh,
Commanders, Pittsburgh. Yeah,
that's interesting. Kirk Cousins in Pittsburgh would actually
see that.
that would actually be nice, I believe.
I can see Kirk in Pittsburgh. How old is Kirk Cousins?
I don't know. Let me see if I can. Minnesota depth chart.
It's like Pittsburgh can take pretty much any of these backup quarterbacks that are doing well. That's how bad their quarterback play has been.
35 looks like.
Oh, okay, so they wouldn't have him long.
Yeah, it looks like it's 35.
I didn't realize he was that old. So yeah, they wouldn't have him long.
Or maybe, you know what? Can I not see? And I'm squinting here now. Yeah, no, that's it. 1988. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, they wouldn't have them long. But I still, actually, that's actually still not a bad move though.
Yeah, I think it would be a good move.
That would be pretty good.
I'd say it's better quarterback play than what they've been getting.
Would they be good? That's right. Okay, so
but that'll also put them in a situation like the Jets. The Jets may be set for 1 year, but after that,
it's hoping and wishing and guessing and all
right.
that. Kind of stuff.
Exactly.
That is true. But I can still see it. I can see Minnesota. I'm gonna say Minnesota. For my money, Minnesota's not set. They're not set. They're a little bit flux. Detroit. What do you think? I think they're set in Detroit.
So yeah, the way their team is built, I'll say they're set.
Yeah. We said
and
the
way
Jets.
It's been playing.
Yeah, but the Jets are good with Rodgers.
The Jets for at least for a year.
Yeah,
they gotta be. But
they got him now. So.
But again, I think that's only for 1 year.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not sure how much further he's going to play past that, or he'd be able to play past that, for that matter.
Yeah. I'm not wishing anything bad on anyone.
Oh no, definitely not. But I mean, however, yeah, he got
quite interesting if he were to get injured again.
Yeah, like I said, he got hurt first game of the season.
First game.
Yeah, within the first series, the first series.
Plays. Yeah, first four.
Yeah, I was like first series.
Yeah.
So
that was it. And
Green Bay. I was just about to say, do you think Green Bay is set?
Green Bay.
I think he's set with Love.
Yeah, the way
he's not like they're used to.
Right.
I mean, he's like up and down, but he's not compared to what they're used to. But I think they're set.
Yeah, they're set though.
At least for a couple of years.
I mean, the thing is that young squad. I mean, it's like that squad is so young. Like it's so young, and so given that you got a bunch of guys like that who can all grow together, they're set. I think, to be honest, I think their offense is going to be a little scary maybe next year. I think if these guys, if they actually get out there and get it done, they could be scary.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, they got Watson, Dobbs. They're both in their first or second years.
Yep. And then they got the rookie. Reed is a rookie.
Reed, yeah.
He's a rookie. And so, I mean, that's three good wide receivers. I mean, legit good wide receivers. Yeah. And you think about Cincinnati with Higgins, Chase, and
Chase and
Boyd, right? So
yeah,
I mean, and a decent quarterback. I mean, yeah. And Green Bay, honestly, Green Bay's got two decent running backs. I know they haven't been quote unquote fantasy relevant this year, but as
Jones has been hurt, so yeah,
running backs, these guys are good, and I mean this team. It can be stacked. I mean, if you look at it, really thinking about
Yeah, offensively, I think
yes,
they need to work on their defense.
offensively, yes, offensively. So that's an interesting one. Arizona set, I think.
Yeah, I think. I don't think they're trying to get rid of Murray yet,
Yeah,
but he's also another one that been hurt, keeps getting hurt.
yeah. We talked about Chicago, Dallas. So, what do you think about Dallas with that?
So I think they're set. I think he's played himself well. I'll we'll see how he does in the playoffs. If he's done all this all year and then comes out in the playoffs and looks like he has in the past, that is a very big question mark.
Yes,
If he does the same thing he's been doing, coming out and causing them to lose games in the playoffs, I think they will look very seriously at who they traded for, either Lance, because he is sitting, waiting in the wing.
Okay.
And they still have Rush.
Okay.
And this is actually Dak's contract year, isn't it? So they could very easily just say goodbye.
Yeah, and it cost them nothing.
Exactly.
I forgot about Cooper Rush. I literally did. I forgot all about it.
Yeah, honestly, everybody did. Everybody forgot about everybody on their bench because Dak has played so well.
He has. I mean, he has. He has played well. I think if I had to put my money on it, I would say that they're going to keep running with that. I think they're going to. I think Dak gets paid. So. I think Dak gets paid this season. Even and it's. I'll say it this way: if they win just one playoff game, then it's a wrap. We know he's getting paid.
Yeah, I'll say if they win at least one, I think they keep him.
Right, but if they lose the first round, I think they're probably going to be thinking about it. It's just going to
depends on how they lose the first round. That's true. If it's his fault, like it's been in the past several years, then they will seriously think about letting him go.
Yeah, I can see that.
Now, if he still plays well when they lose, then they'll probably. I think they end up still keeping him.
They hold on.
Like he can't be the reason they lose. It's like last year he was the reason they lost.
Let's see. Miami with Tua.
I think they stick with Tua.
They stick with Tua. Okay. I don't know. From last season, if I was Tua's family, I'd have said, please don't go back out there. Don't get me wrong. He's having a great season. But I always, in the back of my mind with him, I can't get over those twisted fingers.
Oh, yeah.
That image is just seared into my brain. And it's just always there. Okay. Yeah. But I think, honestly, all in all, I think they are set with Tua. What about Denver?
They painted this as a corner too, didn't they? Yeah. Like, how many years is this contract?
I don't know exactly how long it is, but I don't think there's anything they can do.
Yeah, I know they paid him a nice chunk of change, so I think they're pretty set right now too. Plus, he's played a lot better than he did last year, so
yeah.
So I think they're set.
And it actually does. The team does look good. I mean, offensively, they look, like you said, they look better. I mean, there's silver lining all over that right now, and so I think they're good. New England, they are definitely looking for them.
Definitely not set. Yeah, that's
right.
The Browning, that's another place that Browning can go. If they didn't draft one, but so their draft pick is pretty high, so they may draft a quarterback.
Okay,
but definitely not set.
Kansas
City set. We know they're set. Yeah.
Philadelphia is set. San Francisco is set.
Set.
Baltimore is set.
Set.
Giants.
Ah,
Yeah,
Giants. So
yeah,
they just paid him.
they did.
That's the only reason I would say that they're set. That would be the only reason.
I still don't. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. It's still it's a little bit of a question in the back of my mind, even though they paid him.
I mean, has DeVito played himself into a starting role?
Honestly, there's a part of me who wants to feel like he has. I just do. It's you want to feel like the kid has. But the thing
I
is,
think he's looked good, but I don't think he's played himself into a starting role.
It's to a starting role.
Nah.
It's gonna be. It's an interesting one, I believe. I think it's interesting. We got if there's anyone in the chat, what do you guys think about Tommy DeVito?
Tommy DeVito.
Tommy DeVito, quarterback for the Giants. Type in the chat if you got a comment about that. The last team was Vegas, and I think they're set with Garoppolo. I don't. You think they'll let him go? The thing is that, and I say that, and I don't know if you heard my hesitation in it saying it. I think I don't know what his contract situation is. I do feel like if they could, they would, but I don't know what his situation is.
Well, for one, is because it was what's his name, McDaniels, that wanted him. McDaniels is gone now.
It's gone.
So,
that's right. That's true.
And two, Garoppolo is always hurt.
He is always hurt. That is true.
So I don't think they're set.
Okay. So
if it was me, he'd be gone.
So here comes the question. So then the next question with that is, we went through all of the teams, and actually let me go back to it because it wasn't a lot of teams. So we said, okay, we say Vegas is not set, New England is not set. Where do we go? Pittsburgh was not set. Oh, we didn't say. What about Washington? We didn't talk about Washington.
To Washington.
Yeah.
They have their quarterback room is a team full of backups.
Yeah.
I still think they need a starter. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think actually Brissett is a better starter than Howell, in my opinion. I don't think the coach should have ever let Brissett go, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that one. I can see that.
He is a very solid backup.
So you got that.
And
I sort of said Minnesota. I think they're in flux a little bit. But even at that, in Atlanta, I think, Atlanta. So even with that, that's what, 4 or 5 spots? 4 or 5 spots.
That definitely needed to be quarterback.
Yeah. But you notice though, when we talked about it, the only piece that we really talked about moving was Browning. Like,
as a star, as far as backups being a starter,
right? Yeah. And like if you got a guy who was playing right now for an injured guy, like Minshew was doing good in Indianapolis.
He is.
But Indy's not going to let him go unless he
They shouldn't.
Right.
Just like since he shouldn't let Browning go.
I want to go. I gotta go. I need to go.
Right. Like say, I need to be a starter.
I need to go somewhere else, and I know I can start X. But like you said, like New England's likely going to draft a QB. We know
more than likely,
Chicago is. Oh, we talked about Justin Fields, but I agree with you. I think it might be a foregone conclusion that he ends up in Atlanta, which takes him off the board and takes Atlanta off the board.
Right.
So
I'm trying to
I
think
sort
who
of
else would go after Fields.
could you see
Do you think there
Pittsburgh
would be
going after?
anybody else?
Would Pittsburgh
That's what I
go?
was thinking. It's possible.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Um,
I don't think New England would.
New England wouldn't. He's not. That's not their cup of tea.
Plus, like I said, I think they're going to just draft one.
Yeah,
As high as they're drafted, I think they're just going to draft one.
I agree. So yeah, I think either Atlanta or Pittsburgh for Fields. Those are the only two spots that I can see. Yeah, I can't think of him being anywhere else. Now, like you said, Browning, if he were to get out of Cincinnati, I could see him in New England. But the other thing that you said is they're going to draft someone.
Yeah,
they have the third pick or something like that.
I think right now they're number 3. Let's see, Rams 3 and 11.
Draft.
Carolina's 2 and 12. Arizona's 3 and 11. So they're either 2 or 3. I don't know the tiebreaker between New England and Arizona, but they're both 3 and 11 right now.
Let me see. I'm on. Oh, this is last year. Yeah. This is not this year.
2024. Draft order. So yeah, right now actually, New England is 2.
It's 2.
Arizona would be 3. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, they can take whoever. What the Bears don't take.
Yeah, Bears are going to take Caleb.
Probably.
And then.
So they got Mays. Who else are they talking about?
Yeah, I forget that other guy's name. I cannot think of it.
What's his Bo Nix? But they're projecting him to drop. Well, he's the third quarterback, but they predict a whole bunch of people will be drafted higher than him. Like he's probably the third best quarterback, but he's not the third best player coming out of the draft. Like I'd probably take a whole lot of other people before I take it, unless you just absolutely needed a quarterback, which Arizona does not.
And they don't, yeah.
So I guess the next one in question would be Washington. Do they draft a quarterback? Because they're next on the list. And the Giants are 6. Jets are 7. It's like, do those 3 teams take a quarterback?
That's interesting. 2024, I need to get that. 2024.
See, top college quarterbacks. We got
Caleb Williams. Oh, you got to be stopped with this.
Penix Jr. in Washington. What site is this? This is ESPN. So they got Penix ranked at number 2.
Quarterback.
And then, and Drake May, they got at 3. So they got Penix better than May. All right. Yeah, that's interesting. Then Bo Nix.
Yeah, I got the way they got it here. I got Williams, then May, and is this Daniels? What?
Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Really? From LSU? Yeah. LSU? Really? My boy mentioned him. Of course, he's an LSU fan, but he says he's
His NFL Draft Big Board 400. What site is this? Draft Tech.
Yeah, ESPN has Jaden Daniels all the way down at 9 as far as quarterbacks.
Hmm.
They've got, what did I say, Caleb, Penix, Drake May, Bo Nix. They got Jordan Davis out of Florida State at 5. Cam Rising from Utah.
Yeah, this is weird. I'm gonna go away from this guy.
Sam Hartman at Notre Dame. I don't believe that, but I, I'm not sold on Hartman at all. See McCarthy, Michigan,
Oh, this is
and then
CBS.
Jaden Daniels, and then Jalen Daniels from Kansas. So they got two Jay Daniels back to back. So those are the top 10 from ESPN. So I'm not sold on Hartman. Yeah, top 10 QBs. I'm not sold on Hartman at all. He came from somewhere. Oh, yeah, that's right. He transferred from Wake Forest. No, I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm sorry. Hartman is not that bad.
So it's funny because I'm just looking at the top, just the list, right? And they, of course, have Williams as the top QB. And the next QB is Drake May. And then after that is Jaden Daniels. I wonder if they're taking into consideration whether or not all these guys come out. Because McCarthy out of Michigan is the 4th QB they have on this list. And I'm just looking at a whole list. It won't allow me to just go.
See, Caleb could stay because he's a junior.
Yeah.
He's going to be a junior. But Penix, he'd be a 5th-year senior, so he's coming out. Again, I'm going by ESPN's list, so they may be kind of different order than what you're saying. But May, he's still young, so he could probably stay if he wanted to. They say he's going to be a sophomore. And Bo Nix, he's a senior. He'll be coming out 5th-year senior, actually. These say upcoming year, so this will actually be next year. So, yeah, they're coming out. Florida State, he's a redshirt senior, so he may come out. Cam Rising from Utah, another redshirt senior. Sam Hartman from Notre Dame, another redshirt senior. McCarthy, Michigan's junior, so he could stay. Daniels from LSU will be a 5th-year senior, so he's probably coming out. And the other Daniels from Kansas, he's a senior, so he'll probably come out.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's only a couple about 3, these are the ones that I've named that could possibly stay.
Gotcha.
Caleb would only stay if he didn't want to go where he was being drafted.
If he didn't
right.
But that's interesting. Oh, that. Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now I gotta start doing research on the draft now.
Yes, that'll be something to talk about for the next year. Yeah,
because we got a few months before the draft, so we can go back and forth.
Yes, yeah,
and hopefully it'll be some things to think about there. So here's another thing I just glanced at my note. I remember I wrote this down. Tight end next season, when we're drafting, I've actually been thinking about next season a lot, period, with just drafting in general. But at tight end, has the Kelsey, is it still Kelsey number 1 and then everybody else?
I
mean, if you think about,
as far as
at tight
I would
end,
say yes, actually.
Really?
At tight end, I would say yes, because like there are tight ends that are just as good, but as far as volume, the only other tight end in question would be Andrews. Not saying that they're the best, but because like it's just as far as pure talent, I would say Kittle.
Right.
but there's so much talent on that team that he
Yeah.
doesn't get the ball like everybody else does.
Yeah. So Kittle, I like Kittle, but I couldn't. He can't be high on my board for that very reason. There's too much talent on that team,
Right.
and so you can't. You can't. He can't be the guy. But like, was it Hodgkinson or whatever his name is out of
Hodgson.
Minnesota?
He was like, I drafted him his rookie year, and he was a shocker to everybody. He was
Yeah.
great. But like
And
another tight end, I guess he's rookie this year, Mayer
Mayor.
from
For Vegas, right?
Vegas. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a good tight end.
Yeah. See, the thing is that I'm just wondering. We had that. What was it? Is it not last season? I think it was season before last, where it was like if you got 5 points out of your tight end, you were happy. I mean,
Exactly.
it was
Yes.
horrible. It was absolutely horrible. It was Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, and a bunch of guys who had a TE behind their name. I mean, that was
Right.
it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
And I'm just thinking though. I know that. I mean, in general, Kelsey is having sort of an off year. He's still good, but he's having a little bit of an off
Right.
year.
Yeah, a little off. Injuries don't help.
Right.
Like part of it's injuries. Part of it's just like the rest of the receivers were not stepping up. So everybody's like, okay, we take Kelsey away and make everybody else beat us.
And I was exactly thinking that because that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
If there were good wide receivers on that team, then Kelsey would probably be having an MVP type season. But if you don't have to worry about any other pass catcher, then you can just focus everything on him and shut him down. So, yeah, I was literally just thinking that. But I mean, there's a who's the is it Laporta up in
for Detroit, yeah. He's been a monster.
He's good. I mean, the thing is that there are a few other
like Schultz in Houston's pretty good.
Houston, yes. Yeah. I remember him from Dallas.
Dallas, right.
Yeah. But,
and even the tight end in Dallas now, Ferguson, he's had some drops issues, but other than that, he's been a pretty solid tight end.
Pittsburgh's tight end, Fairmouth, or is that his name?
Firemouth, yeah.
Firemouth, yeah. So he's a good one. So there's some tight ends out there now.
Right. I think they're just not a 10-point a week tight end, but yeah.
Right. But I think it's going to be a little bit different because one of the things that I hadn't done it yet, but I was going to pull up like my first round draft in one of my leagues and just look at how many of these guys would people still take in the first round, like.
Knowing what they know now, or
knowing what they know now. So, like, knowing what you know now, Christian McCaffrey is the number 1 overall pick, right?
Right. Knowing what I know now, I'd have never drafted the running back. I think you drafted him in the league too, Pierce. Yes.
Houston. David Pierce. Yeah, David Pierce.
I drafted him early, not first round early, but I think within the first couple rounds, I think I drafted Pierce.
I was going to say it was probably 3rd, 4th round for sure.
Yeah, by the 4th, he was gone.
I mean, he's a guy that you wouldn't have drafted. Knowing what you know now, would you have drafted Cooper Kupp in the first round?
No, and I didn't.
And that's what I'm saying. So, like the other thing is like, I don't know that I would draft him early thinking about it like next year. I mean, you got to go Puka. At least if you're looking at that team, Puka's the number 1 wide receiver that you take from that team now.
Maybe, yeah. I think they're about neck and neck.
They're neck and neck? I can
so.
See that. I can see that.
I think they're pretty much the same player.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's just I'm just thinking about some of these guys who were drafted way early. I mean, I think I still you I take Justin Jefferson in the first round.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Like I said, his was just injury. Of course, Cooper
yeah,
Cup. I mean, his was kind of injury too, but when he came back, he wasn't quite the same. I mean, he had a good first game back, I think,
yeah.
but
He
after
did,
that, like I say, it was just a toss up between him and Puka.
man. Let me see. Can
But
I
yeah, Justin Jefferson, I still think you take early.
see? Can I pull up my draft from this season? I'll go with this one. League draft recap. There we go. Ooh, Austin Eckler was the third pick.
Mm. Oh wow. Yeah, he was rated like real high.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Knowing what you know now, probably
Knowing
not
what
so
you know
high.
now. So this is I'm gonna read this, and this is of course where my cousin, and if you out there listening, I'm talking about you again, took Aaron
You know,
Rodgers with
bring
the
up
fifth
Aaron
pick.
Rodgers.
Yeah. But that notwithstanding, the picks were Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Austin Eckler, Travis Kelsey, Aaron Rodgers, Christian McCaffrey, Cooper Cup, Tariq Hill, Saquon Barkley, and then Devontae Adams. Those were the first 10 picks of this draft. And I'm thinking,
So
one, I'm thinking Austin Eckler would have, knowing what we know now, he would have made it out of the first round. Nobody, I don't think anybody would have drafted the first round.
no. Now the question is, do you still include injuries? Like, how do you think Aaron Rodgers would have done, barring like if he hadn't been injured? Do you think he would have
I
been still worthy of a top 10 pick?
no, no,
Really?
not Aaron Rodgers. No, not a top 10 pick.
Okay.
Here's the thing. The thing is when Aaron Rodgers was healthy, like when he was healthy, we started the season healthy. He was still Aaron Rodgers. I got him in the 12th round. When I
Oh,
actually
okay.
drafted him, I drafted him actually in another league. I got him in the 12th round. I
Okay.
mean, he's he's worthy of a pick,
Right.
but there were so many. Now the thing is that like you say, you start looking at these things, and we know too much now, right? We
Right.
know a whole bunch now, so we can, it's like it's easier said to say, oh, I definitely wouldn't do this, I wouldn't have done that. But I mean, like I said, if we played that game like that, I'm looking at these top, like Cooper Cup, I think would have made it out of the first round. Because if I'm looking at just the 10 that were taken in first round, I'm honestly thinking that Christian McCaffrey goes one, Tariq Hill goes two, maybe Justin Jefferson goes three, Jamar Chase goes four. And then
Something
you
like that.
have, yeah, then Travis Kelsey. And then after that, I think everybody else is in flux, including Saquon Barkley, including Devontae Adams, Cooper Cup. Everybody
Right.
else is flux. So like here was round two. Round two was Derrick Henry, Stephon Diggs, Josh Jacobs. Forgot about this guy, Nick Chubb, Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb,
Lamb
Bijan
would have
Robinson.
skyrocketed.
Yep, he would.
Actually, Lamb would have gone first round,
He would have. He would
knowing
have.
what we know
Absolutely.
now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson, Jalen Hurts, and
Mm.
then AJ Brown actually went 10th in that round. So, like honestly, do you take Derrick Henry? I mean, knowing what you know now.
Nah.
You don't. I
He
mean,
wouldn't have gone in the first three, four. He probably wouldn't have been picked till his fourth round,
yeah.
at least.
Tony Pollard, second round, no. Man,
No,
you know
probably
what?
third, fourth.
I'm looking at these guys and I'm like, man, who would have still been in the second round? Bijan Robinson, maybe, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, yeah, I can see that. AJ may have moved to first round.
Right. Definitely first or second, along with
Yeah.
Bijan.
But yeah, I can see Jalen Hurts going. I can see Jalen Hurts going first round actually. Especially knowing, like you said, knowing what we know now. He gets at least
Right.
one rushing touchdown a game.
Right.
So I could see him going first round. Like next year, man. Next year,
Take him over Lamar.
I could, but you'd have to take him early. I don't think he doesn't survive the second round. Like he's
Probably not.
I think he what I was hesitating about is I'm wondering, is he a top 5 pick?
Hurts the top 5.
A top 5 pick.
I guess depends on how high you value quarterbacks in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like you said, he gets a lot of rushing touchdowns, so that may warrant him going that high.
That's the only thing I think about with that.
Yeah, the only quarterbacks you would even think of picking that high would be Hurts or Lamar.
Right. That's it. That's the only two that I can.
Yeah.
Man, this is wild to look back on this. I mean, seriously. Like, even look, this is the third round. Mark Andrews, Chris Olave, St. Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Keenan Allen, DK Metcalf, Jalen Waddle, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and then Joe Burrow.
So Mahomes and Burrow went that late?
They went in the third round. They went at the end of the third round. But
I guess it depends also how the point system is divvied out. I mean, like if you got a high PPR, then I think
we do.
Receivers are going to go. So yeah, I would. If that's the case, then like people like Olave and what's another receiver you mentioned?
St. Brown.
St. Brown,
Waddle.
yeah.
Waddle.
Maybe not as. I think St. Brown and Olave would go higher than Waddle, just because Tyreek Hill's on the team already.
You know what? You know who hadn't been picked yet? Who should be in like the top 10? Oh my goodness, running back for us, the Saints.
Kamara.
Yeah, you talk about.
But he was on suspension, which is probably why people looked over him.
Yeah, it's exactly it. He went in.
He went late in a lot of leagues.
I know who drafted him, so yeah, he went in the 6th round in this league.
6th round.
6th round. Yeah. Man. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think this is a nice exercise, to be honest. I really enjoy it.
It's something to look forward to.
Yeah. So I would say this. Let's do. Let's call it here. But for the first show back after the holidays, let's dive into some of these drafts. Who would you take now? Like that's one of the things I just want to. Maybe we should do some sort of a mock redraft or something like that.
A fantasy mock draft or like a real mock draft?
a fantasy mock draft. Just,
You do that.
basically knowing what we know now. Man, dude,
That sounds good.
that sounds interesting. We got to figure that one out. Figure out how to get that one.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, for all who showed up, for all who watched, or all who are watching later, thank you. We appreciate it. We will see you in 2024. And
yes.
in the meantime, like, subscribe, help us out. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Have a happy New Year. Merry Christmas. See you next year.
And we are out.
Out. Yeah. All right. Time to eat some dinner. I haven't eaten yet. Yeah.